Okay, I am on Tutorial Hearts 10, row 6, using the main color, which for me is white. It says I'm going to be looking at the right side. I can tell because of this long bar. The right side is facing me, and my accent color needs to be brought to the front. Now it says chain 3. Because this is on the outside, essentially, it doesn't have an in front or back. The accent color will always tell you chain 3 in front or back, because it's just based on where you locked it in last time. So we're on row 6, chain 3, 1 in the front. We're going to go into here, make sure that it stays in front of the red. We don't want to lock that red in. Always a space, 2 back. So now bring our white to the back. Space or chain. I always say space in my head, but it's a chain. One in the front. So we're going to put it in there, but make sure it stays on the front. One in the back. I specifically designed this pattern to have lots of front and back so that you get used to going in front and behind, because even though there's only front and back, sometimes this is your accent color sometimes is on a different side, so it feels different even when it says the same thing. That's why it can be a little confusing. Now I have to count my stitches. I forget where I am, but I am also going to show you how I count the rows, only using my main color, 2, 4, 6. So I'm working on row 6, and I'm going to go front, 2 back, 1 front, 1 back. So now I'm at 1 front and 1 back. I hold 2 instructions in my head. 1 front, space, 1 back. Do a lot of twisting with my wrists when I do this. And 2 in the front. And your end stitch, it's just going into that the whole window. Doesn't have to really go into a stitch, just goes into the window. And move your stitch marker. There you go. We're going to do row 7, chain 3 in front. 1, 2, 3. You don't really get a choice. It's already in front. If it happened to be in the back, that would let you know that you have to frog that whole row. If you're not familiar with that term, frog refers to pulling on this. You rip it out, rip it, rip it, rip it. This is row 7. I did my chain 3 in the front. Now I'm going to do this one, 1 front, chain 1 back. So I need to go through here, pull it to the back. You might notice also that I like to use 4.5 millimeter, which is a US 7, even though the yarn that I'm using is worsted, which usually calls for a 5 or a 5.5. I really like my stitches to be tight. I don't like seeing too much space between them. You don't want it to get any tighter than this, because then you won't be able to work it, or your fabric won't be able to bend. But I do like to work with it tighter, preference. You can do this with any size yarn and any size hook you want. So now we are at 1 front, 1 back. Here we go. 1 front, then 3 back, 1 space. Make sure you're going under both loops just like you normally would crochet. There's the 2 Just pretend like that white isn't even there. To front. Now this is end front. So here's our window. I'm just going to go into the window. We don't have to worry about finding the chain it's just on the edge. So there we go. Time to switch